And good evening, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to episode 172 of New York Red Bulls Discussion Group, the podcast. I'm Garry Redmond, very pleased and to meet you one and all. So let's talk what's going to be happening tonight. Of course, what our two hosts will be joining us very shortly. We're going to talk about the sad incident that took place over in Montreal. Got caught flat-footed, and they got wound up getting flattened up there in Stade Saputo, where the pain continues, will continue. And of course, there was some good news from all that. Dennis Gengar, remember him? He's doing his duty with New York Red Bull 2. He got a brace. Okay, as they powered, powered FC Cincinnati to over at the campus. And of course, this is a very busy week. We're going to start off with DC Hate Week. Our enemy, our bad guy du jour, DC United comes to town Wednesday night, and Nicholas is going to preview that. And of course, the game to follow is Red Bulls hit the road at TQL Stadium versus FC Cincinnati. Now, of course, as you know, this is our live show going on as we speak. So if you missed it, no big deal. You can always catch the recording on YouTube channel, or of course our home from the very beginning, Spotify.com. And we upload new episodes every Wednesday at midnight, so you can always stay pretty much abreast of what's going on to get your footy and of course your fandom. And of course, as always, we always say this is basically your show. If you have any comments about our guests or content or anything else, we have an email address. RBDGthepodcast.com is that place. And once again, that's RBDGthepodcast@gmail.com. Your feedback is very important to us. We read your email. We get a lot of it, okay? Even after we sign off for the evening. We'd like to hear your thoughts on the subject and everything else, and we appreciate that very much. And of course, at our spot, and our YouTube channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. Our subscriber numbers is going up, and we thank you guys very much for that support. As always, once again, RBDG the podcast, one word, at gmail.com. So, we had a good news, bad news situation when it comes to blowing the horn, and people was asking me, did we win the weekend? No. You want to know why? Well, because we were gifted one goal. NYCFC scored only one. And, of course, naturally, with rules apply, if two teams score a goal, that is a tie. So we both share the points, and everybody goes home, so we have a chance. But in a couple of weeks, we got the Hudson River Derby U.S. Open Cup edition in about next week or so, next Wednesday or so. But before we even talk about that, let's put this weekend to bed. And for that, here are your hosts, Mark Coates and, of course, Nicholas Lianos. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for joining us. So, good news, bad news, right? We knew that Stade Saputo was a virtual house of horrors. We don't do very well up there. Nick, you made the trip over the border. Sorry about that, my brother. I know you had to, hated you to do the walk of shame. But to see all that, very briefly, you had issues with the lineup, with the coaching, everything else. Real brief before we do the recap. Your thoughts on what was basically a very bad weekend in the office for the Metro Boys?
Besides the 1642 that hosted us, or a few of us that were there, and I got to exchange sparks with them, that was basically the fun part of the day. On Saturday, watching the game, because I was 5 minutes from now, we were like, okay, I'm ready to go home now.
You were livid at Horvath. Oh man, you lost it.
I've been to Montreal 6 times, 6 or 7 times. I haven't seen a win. I've seen a tie. That's when Julian's first career goal. I haven't seen anything else.
Stop going. That's my.
I put on the chat. I said, I'm done with this place. I'll come to the city. I'm not coming for soccer anymore.
That's how I felt about Chester. I mean, every time I came to Chester, I was getting my teeth kicked in, and I couldn't shout, I couldn't cheer, do anything else, but I was getting blasted by Philly people left and right. Okay, so I know exactly how you felt. The last time I was in Stade Saputo, they won. Okay, they won. So I didn't get to, myself and J.R. Rivera, who was also there with his wonderful family, we saw a victory. So it was a good news to me. But I guess, the team only does well when I show up. Maybe I need to, maybe I need to show up some more.
More of a road trip there, Gary.
But it is, it's a terrific city. It is. Montreal is one of the great cities up there in the course of North America. Lots to see, lots to do other than sports. I mean, the people are super cool, despite their Quebec attitude. But Mark, there were some tactical issues right off the bat that you just drew a big fat red circle on. It was like, okay, here we go. We're going to get our butts kicked.
It was just atrocious. I mean, I think that's the word I'm going with, because I can't use different language here. It was a mess. I mean, our guys were just not. They weren't getting to where they were supposed to get. Playing out of the back was not working. Nick and I think for like 10 minutes, we're just back and forth. Why are we playing out of the back? Why are we playing out of the back? I'm like, I don't know. And I was like,
excuse me.
if I'd been there, I probably would have walked down and started screaming down to the coaching bench and say, please stop. We can't play on the back. This is exactly what they did to us when they were at the table. They pressed us so heavily that we could not work our way out of the back. Our defenders could not make it to the midfield, and passes just weren't getting through. And it was terrible. So
yeah, 7 goals.
I don't, Matt post, he said, make it make sense. It's like, it doesn't make sense. How do we lose to pretty much the worst team in the Eastern Conference?
I don't think that's okay. I don't think that's a sure, that's a valid question, but but to me, the thing that bothers me is the lack of focus. It's like, okay, you won this one, you got a point against Miami with the skin of your teeth. Let's be honest, okay, with the skin of your teeth, and then you knew you were going against the road on a revenge game, but you knew you were going to have a rough go at it. But you just was flat-footed from kickoff. That was the thing that was galling. I was like, wait a minute, what? The coach said, plain simple, it wasn't us. Okay, well, how do you get back to us? Because it seems to me that, you didn't. Go ahead. Right. I mean,
like I said, that's that whole thing of, Michael's a nice guy. He's obviously an experienced player. He's not an experienced coach. He does not have.
No.
I mean,
and we know this.
Yeah,
Mark. We know this. Okay.
A great coach. We know his dad has got plenty of pedigree. Okay, but does that mean that the crumbs fell off the table and into Michael's lap? We don't know yet. And
right.
I think that's one of those question marks where they gave him the opportunity to coach the second team, and after less than a half a season, decided to move him up. I think a lot of people, and I'm not going to say everybody in the discussion group, a lot of people thought Jim Curtin was going to be our next coach.
So did I. I was the one that made the main recommendation. I said, okay. At that time, I didn't know they were going to give Julian de Guzman the keys to be the head of sport. Mm-hmm. All I said was, give him everything. Give him the head coaching gig. Give him sporting director. Let him shop. Let him, cook the food. Let him get the ball. I mean, some of the guys from Philly Union, they may not like Red Bull, but they will definitely make the trip, up north, to Harrison to be with their gaffer. You ain't got to worry about recruiting because, they were just simply, right. Philly Union was just simply done with Curtin. They were like, okay, we wanted you to win a championship. You came close. You got us a couple of shields, but that's it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, you can't go right. You can't go no further. And look what Philly is now. All right, they ain't the powerhouse they used to be, but I'm willing to bet they got some still leg, and the next time we face them, they're going to kick our butt again like they always do because, we're rivals, supposedly. But, but You're right on this, Nick. It is on him. This is on him. I mean, this is one of those growing pains. Unfortunately, the fans will have to go through. I mean, most people don't like it. You got to accept it. I sound like a wrestler. You got to accept it, but this is how we are, okay? I've said from the beginning that we are a team, a young team, a very young team with missing pieces. You add a young head coach, and y'all expecting this team to be Real Madrid? That's not going to happen. Okay, I mean, even Real Madrid's got issues. If you check with them lately, I mean, you know, have you seen the riots that take place in the barber, at their stadium lately? I mean, their fans are having a fit. Okay, they're slipping past. They never mind that they can't even touch Barcelona right now. They can't. But I don't know. But I don't know. I mean, they got to right the ship. Start small, okay? Knock off these dumbass mistakes, okay? Because that will infuriate any fan. You, me, Mark, anybody. We would just say, what the? Come on. These schoolboy mistakes. What are you doing? I mean, how do you let a team get the jump on you? First, I mean, yeah, you knew that this was a very important game because let's face it, boys. Montreal was having a bad week. They fired their coach, okay? Because they wound up dead last in the bottom of the East. They said, okay, something's got to change. And so they did. When you fire a coach, you're sending a message to the team. Okay, you ain't far behind. If we fire your coach, you ain't far behind. If that's the case, give me Prince Owusu. Give me. I mean, name your price. We'll trade ex-player. We'll just get that ball in there. Because he was a handful. He was a problem. The man had 2 assists that game. But before we talk about that, here was the recap. I know, Garry, why we always replay the loss, because we're contractually obligated to do so. And speaking of which, here it is.
Here we go. Montreal playing from right to left in this first half. Sean, a long-time servant of the club, leaving in the off-season. That's intercepted from the play-out. It's Laturi! It's 1-0 Montreal! They could ring the bell. In truth, they were gifted it a little bit, but he still had to finish it, and he did.
To a few weeks back, when Montreal went into New York Red Bulls, coming into him, a lot of money was spent on that centre back to come in.
Now Pugai onside again. That back line didn't step up all as one, and then the referee, as he spotted a handball, he has on the cross, and he's given a penalty kick to Montreal from Pugai's cross.
Goes out. It doesn't need to go out. It's unnatural position. Just on second look, is it the right arm?
Here he comes. The shimmy and the finish. He went the other way this time. And
the first encounter this season, Owusu went to Horvath, left-hand side. And as Horvath starts to lean, there's a stutter step from Owusu. Block, he said, to keep it simple.
Straight now as it breaks down, and they set Owusu away. And he's got Longstaff to his right if he can pick him out. Longstaff to get there, and it's a third for CF Montreal right at the start of the second half. And that could be a crucial blow in the game.
And Owusu gets played in. You wondered if he'd have the legs. And instead he takes the ball wide, and you thought the chance had gone. But as soon as he squared it, Nealis, he almost put on the brakes too early and then realized as that ball was coming across that he was caught. Is that one Horvath? Could he be reading it? Could he come out? But it's put right into stride for Longstaff, who still has a little bit to do, and he lifts it so well. Well, Michael Bradley, after that Charlotte game, if there was any praise to be had, that...
Oh, that's an own goal! It's an extraordinary own goal! Well, there you go!
That's the pass, and Gilles has already started to creep towards his first post.
Key moments in the game, you sense now. Forsberg got there! Oh, and then it was just headed over by Sofo, who was arriving at the back. just trying to get the control on it.
Just trying to play it in behind without even looking.
This one to Forsberg again, sends it wide. It's Mosquera, still going. It's saved and then cleared away by Neal. The changes into Escobar. And it looks like the veteran Fabian Herbers are coming on. In the meantime, this is Owusu. Can he finish? Opoku can! From the outside, very much to the inside, Mahela Opoku.
When that ball pops through, you look at both centre backs, both go towards the ball, and there's a little gap then for Owusu to come into. A great recognition from him as Dos Santos is desperately trying to prevent that square ball. There's enough lift on it to carry it into the path of Opoku, who has been searching for a goal for a long time.
Clears. So the first round of midweek games coming up for not everybody in MLS this week. As here's Rios. His first touches as a substitute. Daniel Rios, good save. The follow-up then towards goal came from Escobar.
Ends up going the other way, yeah, and Rios. Slight little stutter step. It's a solid strike, but it's one. Saber Horvath for the next match as well.
Wilson was told by Marco Donadel, so we understand pre-season that he would be using a variety of positions. This is Rios again. He's through on that right foot, and Horvath again denies him.
There's Rios, that's twice. Nelson's coming on. He's found that bit of space. Down the side to the centre back, because the reset button has been hit so many times over the last few years.
It's a Montreal morale booster. Their 100th MLS regular season victory at Stade Saputo. Far more importantly for the interim Philippe Lefroy, it's a first home win.
They were not them. There was not our football. This was not their way. They just simply was not them. But Nick, from minute one, you saw mistakes all across the field. I mean, this wasn't about not being them. They just played bad football.
Yeah, we saw this in warm-up. The wind was going to be a factor. The way we were going in the first half, we were playing into the wind, so anything we try to kick, we can get blown back in your face. So playing out of the back made somewhat sense, but after your first 4 attempts failed, trying to play out of the back, hey, Ethan, you're supposed to be the guy that can see the whole field. There was so much space to the right-hand side. We're just standing there and looking at each other. Why isn't he playing the ball to the right? Play the ball to the right. Play the ball to the right. Play the ball to the right. Kept screaming at it amongst ourselves. Play the ball to the right. Play the ball. All right, it's not happening. And then the pass to Emil. It is on Emil for the four-part touch, but you put him in a bad position. He turns around. Right. He turns around the other way. He's getting stripped. There's nothing he can do. What is he can do? Make the dribble, and then Rose is to his right, and Vittori is right behind him. What are we doing here? Got to be smarter. We've been screaming about Ethan Horvath making just to do the simple play, and he refuses to do it. It makes no sense. You're just supposed to be the guy that's supposed to be controlling the box, especially with the guy with what our defense is. Control it. That's one thing Coronel. That's one thing Robles would do. You could hear them in the box.
Right, dictating traffic, saying, "No, I need you here. I need you there." Right, out. Let's go.
Push out. You don't hear that from me. And that was one thing. AJ, we watch AJ in RB2. Besides him booming the ball down the middle, booming the ball three-quarters of the way down the field, you could hear him in the upper deck in any stadium. That's how loud he is on the field. Make sure he's clearing out. Make sure he's clear what's going on. That's my ball. I'm taking it. You hear it. We don't get that from each other. That's something that I don't get what as a goalkeeper he doesn't do. Now, after the first goal we concede, all right, Dylan got a little unlucky trying to try sticking his arm out. It happened. The third goal is what I think everybody should be a little annoyed at. You got beat by the slowest center back / center back midfielder up the field.
You got lapped. Oh man,
The cross is Oldorf took the angle away. Why didn't Ethan play the angle better to prevent the cross from happening?
Yeah, I mean,
there was so many things. Like
go ahead, Mark. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
There were so many instances where guys just weren't getting it done, and it's again that part of it has to fall on the coach, part of it's the players. I just don't. We're faced with a situation. I think we're already 8 games into the season. We need to set ourselves up for just a long, miserable season. I mean, overall, I don't see this team jumping up in the standings. We get these spurts where we get a draw in Miami. We've seen the guys play well, but at the same time, you've got so many young guys that are coming in. Somebody mentioned we have 2 players who haven't even seen the training grounds yet that are signed. One of which is only signed through the end of May. May's only 10 days away. And this guy's, we know the whole visa issues. It's complicated.
That's true.
But for the most part,
I mean, one of the players that they signed, I believe he was a defender, a center back.
Right.
Okay, he comes with some gravitas, but they got to work on his paperwork and get him on the pitch. And I believe, I forgot his name. I mean, I believe that while he's not going to be a difference maker, he definitely will be, some reinforcements back there, because that back line is yikes, boys, yikes.
He's not a center back.
Right? No, he's not.
We know he's not a center back.
He's a left back.
we're out of bodies. I mean,
and that's and that is. I mean, I see people blaming the coach, but I'm sorry. Michael didn't put this team together. He was showing the players that they had said, okay, I think I can work with this guy. But we knew that, Julian de Guzman was running out of time. He had less than 4 months to put the team together, and the fact that he was able to put together a half a squad like this in a very short period of time, he definitely deserves some kudos. However, you got issues in the back that already you're being exposed. They gave up 9 goals in 3 games. That's a problem with your defense, and you're right, Mark. We don't got any bodies. They're just throwing anybody. You had Bregman back there during the Open Cup. Thank goodness it wasn't ended in a disaster, but he was serviceable. McCarthy was out there grabbing anything that came near him. And if Horvath isn't careful, he's going to get replaced by him. Okay? AJ Marcucci, he's coming. He's out there in training right now. A lot of these guys, you're probably not going to see them until May, maybe June, but they're coming. Okay? Hopefully, the bleeding will stop. But I'm willing to bet that they need to step up here and, ask the coach. I mean, hey, yeah, we know that, he said that not every game is perfect, and I agree. Not every game is perfect. But I wasn't looking for perfection. We were looking for consistency. Consistency starts at the head coach to the players on down. You have to have, have to have structure, and then, go with that. So we only have 11 points. We're stuck at 8th place, I believe, right now. Excuse me?
That's it.
Yeah, 8th place. 11 points, 8th place. Okay, something to work on, something to go up. But the good news is that you got a team that is literally right behind you coming into the Cathedral, and just so happens to be our deadliest enemy with an old friend. 2 old friends, to be precise, on the roster coming in the Cathedral. I'm sure they're going to have hugs and, handshakes, and then they're going to start their little knife fight. We're going to talk about DC United. I wrote a column saying, hey, why would this matter? I mean, right now it doesn't, because NYCFC is the enemy du jour. But don't get it twisted, boys and girls. DC United is still a thorn on our side, and they're looking to extract some pain. 3 days later, we're in TQL Stadium. The man beneath me, Nicholas Lianos, he did his homework on both teams, and we're going to talk about that after the break. This is... what's going on here? Okay, we had a problem. Hold on for 1 second. It turns out that we are missing... that's funny. I thought we had that video queued up. Just a moment. So we had that video queued up, but that's we have 2 games this week. Okay, we have DC United, and of course we have FC Cincinnati. It's a busy week on top of everything else. So, so far their schedule is, what was it? You started out Saturday, Wednesday, and then Wednesday again. We got DC United coming into play. So, with that, we're going to take ourselves a 30-second break. When we return, Nick Lianos is going to tell the tale about how we're going to try to hopefully get past DC United, and then a very tough one with FC Cincinnati. See you in 30. All right, wrong video, of course, naturally. That's what happens when you have technical difficulties. Let's talk about DC United coming in on Wednesday night. Last time we looked at DC United, they were slipping somewhere, but not even in the top 10. Right now they're just below, they won a few games and are below us. Nick, what's been going on with the red and black since the last time we see these boys? I mean, and I hate this because this should be a weekend game, not a midweek game.
Well, DC is off to a pretty poor start. They have 2 wins, 2 draws, and 4 losses with 8 points. New coach Renee Weiler took over back in July of 2025 after Troy Letens didn't really work out for them.
A shame. A real shame. I really like Troy. I liked him here too, but good.
It's a total redo. They're trying to redo everything that was going on in the franchise for the last 5 years, the last 4 years. They replaced 12 guys. 12 guys went in. 12 guys came out. They brought in Ty Baribo from Philly, who has 3 of the team's 4 goals scored on the season. That's in 9 games. In 9 games, he only got 4 goals.
That's it?
That's it. 4 goals on the season. That's good. They spent $7 million on Louis 10, who has been injured, hasn't really seen the field much. They traded for Sean Nealish, who's also been banged up and injured. He's gotten basically 10 minutes of action. Gabriel Segal, they drafted from Houston. The biggest thing that they did was clean up the goaltending. They brought in Sean Johnson, who's been Sean Johnson. He's still very good. Yeah. He still keeps.
I mentioned, hey, bring him into New York, but saying, well, you kidding me? It's a city guy, but he's a shot stopper. Okay.
He keeps them in every game. He's only conceded 1 goal a game. He keeps them in it. And they spend money on Kisuke Kurosawa for $1.5 million to help in the back line. The biggest person that they let go was Christian Benteke, when he came in, he's been the Golden Boot winner for the MLS. I don't know why you just let that guy just walk away. Made no sense to me.
Did anybody sign him?
He's in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's in Saudi right now. Yeah.
David Sheng went to Charlotte. Their starting goalkeeper last year, Luis Barraza, went down as a backup now in Miami. and for what they've been for the season, besides them not scoring, they beat Philly They beat Philly on opening day. They beat Chicago on the road. They had a huge game against Miami in Baltimore, where they drew 77,000 people.
But lost.
They lost 2-1. They got just smoked by Dallas 4-0. And last they lost to New England 2. Over the weekend they tied Philly 0-0, again not scoring. And they were, in the middle of the week, they got upset in the Cup by Knoxville on PKs. Well, they actually did score 3 goals in that game against Knoxville, and all for nothing. They lost on PK 6-5, where their backup goalie Stephen Bunn couldn't make a save. So they're struggling. You know, DC is DC. They'll be up for this game, but it's a rivalry. Even though
Right.
And this is the open.
It's not the rivalry that I'm sure everyone will immediately tell me, like, no, they ain't the rivalry, it's NYCFC. And I agree, okay? They certainly have surpassed, I've always said it from the beginning. I mean, DC United and the Red Bulls, if you were here during the MetroStars days, oh boy! I mean, they were there were bites. It was some bite in the stands. Okay, they made the trip down to DC, and people were up for it. But now, ever since we knocked them out of the playoffs, if you'll remember, a couple, some years back when we had Henry, it hasn't been the same since. But when you talk about Mark, when you talk about this team and how they've been struggling up into the season, here we go again, right? A team that's struggling on and off the field, and we're facing them, and we could be a tonic to these guys. I'm hoping that the coach understands. The coach. Bradley, he understands the rivalry. He remembers back in the day. Remember, he played in the MetroStars during the day when they had wars. Okay? Wars. Okay? That battles on the pitch. They had wars. He was there. He was in the face of many of the guys in the black and red. He understands the history, so we don't have to explain that to him. But how do you tell that to your young team that, look, it's a rivalry game, okay? This is a game you got to win. Okay, to get the home folks back on your back. You're a coach yourself. How do you tell these guys that, forget what happened in Montreal, but we need to take care of business here?
I mean, obviously easier said than done, but this is one of those situations where you really truly have to put it into the mirror, and that's, like I said, it's a difficult ask for younger kids to just say, okay, rough it off, move on to the next one. Because they don't have the experience that the older players obviously have. But this is when you have to lean on Chupo and Neil. You have to get these guys to understand that they have to leave the loss and everything that went wrong, so to speak, in Montreal. It's
excuse me. Sorry.
We mentioned it earlier. This is a packed schedule. We've got the game against DC Wednesday. We're going to Cincinnati on Saturday. Yeah.
And then we got to come back and deal with NYCFC on Open Cup.
Right. And then we got a game on Saturday away. There's a lot of traveling, a lot of bouncing back and forth. And you're going to have to find guys who can step in and fill some positions. We were talking earlier about the whole center back situation. The other problem that the team is faced with, last year, Red Bull 2 didn't really have 2 solid quality center backs.
No.
Right? And neither one of them were retained for this year.
No.
So there's been no development in the center back position for a few years now. We don't have it. Like, Sean Lewis was the last guy to come up through our system and have an impact of any sort.
Major.
And I'm being polite. Sean had his moments, but he also had his oops moments more often than not. So, I think we all remember him sticking his arm up, and grabbing the ball. That was, you sort of wonder, like, how could you be doing this, just some boneheaded plays, and then looking at your defensive partner saying, "Oh, was I supposed to carry it?" And this is a situation. Yeah, we have Tim Parker. Tim Parker is not capable of keeping up with these guys. He's going to come in 20 minutes left if you need him as basically as an injury substitute. It's the only way I see Tim getting back on the field. So this is a difficult spot for our team to be in, to just be able to roll over and move on to the next one. You look at the standings, you have Orlando with
Still
minus 19 goal differential, and that's atrocious. I mean, they're at the bottom of the table. Atlanta, Philly, but yet Montreal was down there, and we've lost to them twice. Like, Magical Matt had said it earlier. Make it make sense. That's the problem. It doesn't make sense.
Makes sense.
These are the things that we talked about, and sort of like we play down to other teams. Sadly, we really truly are this year. I mean, we stepped up to play against Miami, and yes, Garry, you were 100% right. We got out of there with a point. We probably shouldn't have, but we did. Yeah, you take the point, you run, and that's the rule about playing on the road. And we didn't even play to tie. We just didn't play on Saturday. So how do you flip that switch? I think you put a couple different guys in to play on Wednesday. You gotta. If you're Michael, you gotta go in. You gotta tell the guys, listen, we've got to play. You're going to have as many people are going to show up for a midweek game. It's going to be as loud as it can be. We hate them, they hate us, kind of back and forth with the fans. I'm sure some of their fans are going to travel.
They will.
Yeah.
I mean, they will.
There'll be noise, and the guys on the field have to make a difference. They have. I like what he says. We want to play our football and dictate the game on our terms.
Yeah.
Then go out and do it. Our guys have to execute. That's the bottom line. And do we see Horvath come out? Because that's the other question I was sort of asking myself.
I would give McCarthy a shot. Seriously, I would just say, okay, here's your game. It's not going to hurt. Okay, here you go. Here's your chance. You did great during U.S. Open Cup. You cost us a clean sheet, but here you go. Switching gears, of course, to Cincinnati, which will take place on Saturday. In Cincinnati, we've been hearing some noise about Neymar joining the team. Don't quite know if that's going to happen or not, but it looks like it will be. But Cincinnati is a side that's kind of confusing. They look like a side that's looking to contend to the tops, but then when you look at the standings, Nick, and you're going, okay, what's going on with this squad? What's up with this?
Okay, we just played them 3 weeks ago, and we beat them 4-2. And the same issues that they've been having all season long reared their ugly head over the weekend, where they needed a dramatic comeback to get away with a tie this weekend. They just drew against Chicago, coming back from 3-1 down, and they needed an own goal to spring them forward to get them back into the game.
So they're still having defensive issues.
Yeah, they're like DC, 2-4 on the season with 8 points. Pat Noonan is still coaching this team. They're still up and they love an open game, and why wouldn't you with guys like Denke and Vander, Nick and Nicky that can run up and down the field. Their main back line, their main guys in the back have been, in a word, horrendous. Matt Miazga is injured, but he wasn't good when he was on the field. Miles Robinson, in between playing for Team USA, has been bad. Nick Hagelin is...
You said bad.
bad. I can't believe... I mean... Nick Hagelin is always been an MLS lifer, is always there. He's been up and down. Roberto Torres, the other third center back, hasn't been good. When you've given up 19 goals, it says a lot. And that doesn't include the 5 that you gave up against Tigres and down in Mexico. That you gave.
They got pasted. Ouch.
Yeah, and after you were leading 4-0.
Okay, so basically they're a squad that can score. We know that, okay? But then it's like they score, then they hold on to dear life to keep the other team off the board. Is that what you're saying, Nick?
Yeah, and then you still have, remember, you still have Evan Lauro and Roman Celentano in goal. Lauro always plays well against us for some strange reason. Oh, yeah, because we had him on the team. And never
Of
got
course. Couldn't get him a spot for some dumb reason. I don't understand what. I was politicking. I was like, yo, keep Evan. Nah, we don't need him. We got somebody else. I mean, if there's one thing that the Red Bulls have in surplus, goalkeepers. Okay, we know how to develop goalkeepers. We know how to we know how to convert midfielders into defenders. I mean, it's the only way they're able to keep them because remember, Aaron Long, he was a midfielder. Then he became one of the better defensive center backs in the league. When we had at one point an elite defense back in the day, I'm sure all of y'all remember that. But but we're talking about a team. Okay, for the second straight team in a row. I'm looking at this with, winnable games here. We can beat DC. We can beat Cincinnati. But, Mark, I got this very icky suspicion that neither is going to happen because is it because we have a hard-headed coach?
No, because Murphy's Law shows up. If anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. We do not play well against teams below us on the table. And this has been going on forever. Like, as long as I can remember. We seem to have some mental, breakdown that guys walk in and they think, oh, we're just going to roll right over these guys. They're still MLS players. You still have to win the game. Yeah. I've been a Rangers fan forever and ever and ever, right? And I watched Henrik Lundqvist play some phenomenal games. One of the greatest goaltenders in hockey in the last 20 years. But if you don't score,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You're putting all the pressure on him. That's what you're doing.
He's got to keep you in the game and hope you get one in the net. Well, we have guys, obviously, we've seen our young guns can score.
If they have the ball.
Yeah. Well,
that's been the problem with them. I'm looking at the number one problem in the middle of the park. I'm like, okay.
You don't get it there. Yeah.
I mean, it's not that they can't get it there. The idea is to keep it there because, as we saw in a couple of games, they fumble. I mean, as soon as they hold the ball, they get knocked off the ball. Some are basically ball watching or something. But when they're on point, okay, they're about as good as any team in the league. You can't have your captain and everybody else go back to the defense and then drag the ball up the field again. We've seen too much of that.
This is one of those situations where I think if we see some rotation, Bergeron looked pretty good playing as a winger on Sunday.
Yeah.
Rojas has obviously he's impressed all of last year. He's continuing his good play this year. We're going to see a couple of guys have to come up, and there's going to be guys that are going to have to take a step back. And this is one of the other things I mentioned, I think, during the thread on Saturday was we don't want to start seeing these guys get burned out early. No. I love Sofo. Sofo was so good in the beginning of the season last year, but he hit that wall once he got to about, I want to say like 900 minutes, 1,000 minutes played.
They played him too much.
Yeah, he started feeling it because he didn't play that many minutes playing with Red Bull 2. These guys would get subbed out 55th, 60th minute because they were, obviously it's a developmental team. So you want to get some of your other players time. You want to see some of these other guys get in. So you're not playing your entire team 90 minutes week in, week out.
Nope.
When you're asking them, and same reason why Ricky Carmona was always run out there. We didn't have another body to put out there. We have bodies this year. So Michael has to take the time to look and say, okay, I need to plug in guys here, here, and here. And start looking at which set of guys are going to be your base starting 11 on a weekly basis and know who can fill in. Who's going to be able to play if you're going to let Chupo rot on the bench, you're not helping him. You're not helping the team.
No,
Yeah, you can't just expect Hall to carry the load 90 minutes every game. Yeah, listen, I think the three of us will admit when we were 18, we had a lot of energy. We could go all night long. All right, you can't ask this kid to run himself into the ground.
You can't do it.
And you don't want it, and you don't want to see him end up. At the end of the
You got to be smart enough to use all the weapons that you have at your disposal. Is what you're basically saying, and I agree. And I totally agree. Which is why whenever I see Chupa on the bench, just like everyone else, like you, me, Magic Matt, Potvin, Billy Kazoulis, we're all scratching our head like, okay, you got a weapon. You're down a goal. You got a weapon that you can take off the bench. Because he did it in Toronto. He came close a lot of games. The man scored 17 goals for you when he first walked in here.
Yeah.
You're trying to tell me you're not going to use him? No wonder he wants out of here. He's like, I'm just standing on the bench, collecting dust. He can't wait to get out of here in June, and that's not what you want. That's what I mean. Yeah, Hall is busting, and he's got goals and assists, and everything. He's going to be your home run hitter. But when you have a veteran with some skill that know they can get the goal whenever they need to, and they can hook up together, become a force. All you got to do is get the ball up there, get the rock up there. You got a shot. So.
If you're looking at our team now, and especially with the way the defense has been struggling, especially on the Matty Dos Santos struggle. With Matty struggling, you also lose Jorge on the left-hand side because you're basically playing one side of the field only now. You're playing Jake Cowell's side, and hopefully him and JMR have a good connection. And that worked against Cincinnati. It worked against Miami, but against Montreal, it was a disaster. They couldn't control it. Jake Cowell and Jorge both got taken off the field at halftime with JMR. So until these guys, especially the way the system is basically set up, you're playing three guys up front, three guys out, two guys out wide, and even our midfield who plays Doncor is playing more basically out wide. So basically, you get to push everything going forward. If these guys have an off game, basically because of tiredness, not having any energy, because we've been running onto the ground, it shows up and it doesn't last just for one game. It's going to last for more than one game. And you saw that on Sunday in Montreal. Cade was ineffective. Jorge didn't get the ball. Doncor, I didn't think, when watching him live, didn't want to be out there. It was like, this game this is not for us today. I'm like, oh, great. This is not the way we want to start it. But it's going to come down to Bradley. He's got 3 games in 7 days. The rotation's got to be there, at least for some of these guys. I get it. It's sort of like the Klopp situation. He goes, I want to win today's game, not worry about the next game later. But that doesn't work if you're.
That's nice and noble and all, but
it doesn't work if you're the other guys that you're gonna have on the pitch aren't in form and fit enough to carry you those 90 minutes. You need the other guys to come off the bench and add something. And these guys have been sitting there, twiddling their thumbs. Like Chupo, he's been in 7 of the 8 games. Sorry, he's averaging 13 minutes a year, on 13 minutes a game on the year. This 17 goal scorer is averaging 13 minutes. Shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's the thing that's a concern, and and I mean, I was the one that advocated. I mean, I wrote in your piece when you were giving your post game ratings, and I said, okay, Dos Santos needs to see some time with Red Bull too. But then I realized, okay, you take away him, who do you replace him with? You don't have anybody. But you can't, with Dos Santos, I think he can be, a better player down the line. But he's just not ready for this, for this level. And you can't hope that he will magically be better. I understand that, I don't want, to stunt his, his development, but this is the problem. When you have a team that's focused on development, these things happen. But I always take, what the fans view. They're like, okay, well, development is fine, great, but we want wins. And I get it. And, and Kazula said, I agree with him. Ruvalcaba's been handicapped for 4 games now with a bad Dos Santos. He can't dribble, he can't pass. And he's the one that needs the ball. He needs a rock for him to actually do something. Well, it's like you're running a relay race, you're waiting for the baton, but the guy tripped over his laces, and you're standing there with a hand out. I mean, his only goal that he scored this year was, thanks for giving a goal to Hall, stopped, did a rush, stopped, laid it off to, Ruvalcaba, who finished it off, and that was goal number 1 in Miami. We need more of him, but he also needs the Rockets too. Now, earlier today we talked about, of course, they talked about the poll. I'm going to bring it up again because we're pretty much right now. 4 people all agreed, 100%. Tone. It was all tone deaf. I'll explain what the poll was on. Spencer Stadium is evaluating renovation concepts with a focus on updating seating configuration and fan experience zones. This is the state. This is the state of arenas, both stadiums and arenas around in sports. Okay, the reason why they do this is because a lot of fans are staying at home watching the TV at big screens, and they want them more to come in the stadium. It's a part of a trade-off, so they're able to cut off areas around. And what they're doing is in the corners near the west stand, right? More the west stand. Those corners that you guys see with the flag and everything else. They're going to turn those into standing or say it again, Nick.
Basically, party areas.
Yeah, party areas. Okay. Now, if you're not very keen on party areas, if you go to Yankee Stadium, they took some of the areas where you brought your beer and everything else, and you're standing around watching the game, sitting in the seat, and you're sitting around with friends and everything else. And they figured if it worked for people in Yankee Stadium, they're going to work for Red Bull. Okay, so you got people hanging out with cans of Red Bull and everything else. Now, I'm an old guy, okay? I'll be 60 according to November. But to me, if you want to entertain fans around here, win, which is something you haven't really done consistently, okay? I've had people tell me that, Gary, you can't win all alone. You got to bring big stars. They've done that. You got to bring big names. We've done that. What was the one thing they did not do? Win, and win consistently. And what I mean by that is where winning a championship of any kind is a matter of if, not when. Right now, you're at win. You have no idea when the team. And most of the fans who came from 1995 have long given up. They're still fans of this team. Don't get it twisted. They're still fans for this team. But Nick, you know where they are right now? Any place, right? Home. Any place but the arena. They are nowhere. They ain't nowhere going to make the trip because the way they see it. They see these kids with a couple of stars here and there and go, who the heck are these guys? Nah, man, I need something for a reason to come to the arena. That list that our good friend Mark Fishkin, it grows game after game, season after season. Most of it with excuses, most of it valid. Okay, you can't take anything away from that. But the one thing that I see missing, this team doesn't win. Okay, we went to the MLS Cup 2 years ago. You haven't worked on making a serious progression since then. Go ahead, Mark.
We did have a bounce in attendance last year. It did tick upward, and I think it's because again the casual fan coming out. Oh, you guys made the MLS final. Oh,
yeah,
it generated interest in the team. But here's something that you and I as Yankee fans, I'm sure you remember. If you were to look at some of the footage from the 96 season and even the 95 season, how many people were at Yankee Stadium?
Early? Before they got hot? Yeah.
Before the 96.
Nobody showed up. Nobody showed up.
That stadium was maybe half full. Nobody was showing up. They get on a run. They win in 96. Suddenly, everybody's interested. 97, they don't make it to the World Series. But then 98, 99, 2000, 2001, the place is jammed.
Right, they're averaging $2 million a year, $2 million a season.
Yeah. Now, after 9/11, everybody's showing up. We go 7 games against Arizona. People are still coming out. 0-2, we lose to Arizona, to the Rangers.
Okay.
0-3, we get in, lose to the Marlins. After that, you still saw the place jam. When did we win? 07? 08? 08, I think we won, right?
09.
09, yeah. That was the first year of the new stadium.
Yeah.
And Jeter had left. Posada's, out. You had Moog left. All the big names that were there from the 90s were gone. And then now, of course, Aaron Judge, huge pull. But they don't have that. But you still see that place not jammed like it was.
It's full.
They're still pretty full.
It's full.
You look at our place, it's when they pan back and forth across the midfield sections, you could see a lot of the yellow seats. You could see a lot of the red seats because the Red Bull logo is in there.
Yeah.
If you could see the logo, that means people aren't buying those tickets. They're not sitting in those seats.
No, they're not.
And why? Because we're not winning. All the other, I love Mark's list. God bless him. That has got to be some of the funniest stuff ever.
Yeah, I look at it and I laugh.
Number one is we're not winning.
Yeah.
What is we up to? Number 55 excuses. I think we're up to.
Yeah, like I said, most of it is valid. Most of it's excuses. I mean, but when I look at that, when one looks at that list very carefully, there's one thing missing. Well, it is listed there. That one thing they didn't do, they didn't win. I mean, that's the thing about this area. We love winners. I got some guy telling me, well, that's not the reason why. I mean, we explained this before. No. You haven't been, I'm sure you've been a sports fan as much as I have. If there's one thing, there's the diehards, and then there's everybody else. The diehards will always be there. Always. Okay? I remember during the days of New York Football Giants, when they were losing more games than winning. And the only people who were in Giant Stadiums back in the day, diehards. Why? Because they needed something to watch other than their jobs. So they came out, but even then they got mad and almost had a riot. Okay, I remember the banner that was raised because I was there that game. 18 years of football, and we can't take this anymore. Then all of a sudden they started getting better players and got to get a better coach, and the rest of the story.
There is a difference between the Jets and the Giants, though. The Giants fans have always shown up, win, lose.
Like I said, but you're proving my point.
Fans, but you look at now, the unfortunate part is in the last 10 years, who are the worst two teams in the NFL? The Jets and the Giants. They have, over the last 10 years, they have the two worst records in the NFL. Yeah,
we got something. We got something to hang our heads on. Yeah.
But you still see all these people showing up for the people. People were boycotting in Detroit, in New Orleans. You remember all the guys with the bags over their heads?
Oh, I remember the Aints. Yeah.
See, this means Garry and I are old.
We've been watching football since forever. Yeah, Billy Kazoulis hit the nail on the head, and then John Amaral, as always, comes in and swings in for a home run. Show ambition to actually want to win. Developing players is great, but a mix. And this is something that I've been saying, okay? Remember my words? A team from bench to pitch, okay? This is what I'm talking about. Developing players is great, but mix in 4-6 veterans that can make a difference. And we ain't got to do much. You really don't, okay? You have a lot of friends who stopped becoming season ticket holders and gave up on the team. Why? Because, because they do everything but that. You can't have, you can't have a team where you have a 1 or 2 superstars, a bunch of ham and eggs and kids. You did that, okay, back in the day, And he says, hey, winning, get that back out. Almost deleted this guy. Winning solves everything. So many old fans showed up for the final in L.A. Right. They came out of the woodwork. We made, excuse me, we made the final. And where were all those fans that were hiding out in the Netherlands? They came out because they wanted to witness history, possible history. Okay, if it wasn't for that ring shot, that ring off the post, from Forsberg, and it actually went in instead of being bouncing out, maybe.
And on a penalty,
Or the penalty that didn't get called.
And the penalty, right? And the penalty, the penalty that somehow didn't get called, or someone took a very bad time to take a sick note. We wouldn't be, talking about losing the game.
2 years later,
We're still, we're going to continue to kick that because that's the freshest memory I've had in that run. Joan, love you, Joan. Mwah, mwah, mwah. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
Was a casual fan, became a season ticket holder when Henry joined. Henry got the thing again. Fans follow players. Okay, they weren't casuals back. They were casuals back then. Then you bring in a superstar. Okay, I'm in, but she's still here. She's still here. Okay. And he was a different. I mean, we're talking about Thierry Henry.
Right.
We had Arsenal fans. No, we had Arsenal fans pissed off at us, wondering how come you ain't put talent around that man. I said, I don't run the team. If I did, I would. When they had their testimonial, all they did was curse us out. I'm serious. When they had that testimonial there, they came in to see their guy. Arsenal fans came from everywhere to see their boy, okay? And they all said the same thing. How come you Red Bulls didn't surround this guy with talent? Who are these kids? Who are these bums? And I had no choice but to sit there, Joan, and take it. I said, I don't know what to say, okay? I don't run the team, okay? Right. John Amaral. Not sure this talk about development in young guys. We play 3 young guys. 2 of our best performers thus far. Focus on the wingers. Focus on the center backs. None are young. He's right. We brought in guys. We brought in substandard guys. Young guys are doing their job. They're doing what they need to do. It's everybody else that's a problem that's on the same page. Okay. So that's where we are right now. That's the state of the team right now. I like what I see, but there needs to be more. I don't know how everybody else feel, but that's how I feel. There needs to be more. There really needs to be more. We come to the last part of our show. Of course, naturally, bold predictions. Gentlemen, what do you see on Wednesday and on Saturday? Nick, you first.
Going with a 1-0 win at home against DC.
1-0. We're going to cut it that close, eh?
Unfortunately, Sean Johnson has a number 2. This guy. And DC, there's one thing they cleaned up with their defense. So I'll give them credit. They're not going to score, but I'll take a 1-0 going forward. In Cincinnati, I'll go with the 2-2 draw, hopefully. I think Cincinnati is struggling. I don't know what's going on in that back line. I think we can take advantage of it. They're going to take advantage of us. They did last time.
They always do. They've had it out for us ever since we knocked them out of the U.S. Open Cup and ruined everyone's fantasy about a small mid-market team being in the championship.
Even though we've made them without them actually acknowledging it. Yeah, we're not sure, but we become an MLS franchise. Yeah, take it. Otherwise, you can
take it. Shut up. You're an MLS franchise now. Shut up.
Either be USL franchise playing still in Cincinnati University, or be an MLS. Take the loss and move on.
Yeah. Mark, what do you think? Wednesday first, Saturday next. What you're saying?
I'm gonna go with the same scoreline for Wednesday. I think we manage a 1-0 win. Hopefully Chupo's the one on the scoring end of that.
Me too.
I hope he gets the goal. I hope it's not in the 90th minute. It'd be nice if we scored a little sooner in the game. I just don't like the idea of holding on to a 1-0 lead for 60 minutes. But I think we get it with 1-0. I think we lose 3-2 in Cincinnati.
Ooh, okay.
because I think our defense is it's like, yeah, your defense is bad, but ours is worse. So I just think they're gonna eat us up. So that's where I'm at.
I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw at home versus DC United. Yeah, I know. I'm saying it, because I'm not convinced that these guys can even put in a quality performance at home. And on the road, I'm also going to go with a loss, 2-1. Okay, we don't do so hot at TQL Stadium. We really don't. And it's that consistency that I'm a little concerned about and trying to keep that in the focus. But as I always say after my predictions, I dearly hope I'm wrong. So we're going to put, as they say, 172 to bed. The poll, as the final, the final thing on the poll, every one of you said the same thing, tone deaf. I mean, they can. You figured that the club will focus on other things other than party suites, which is nice for people that don't give a damn about the game. But Mark Fish can put it. You want people who don't give a damn about the sport, and then you're going to chew out the guys. You chase out the people who do give a damn. What are you doing? The whole point is to focus on putting a quality team on the pitch that will bring people out. Okay, and I'm talking. I would rather have 25K diehards than 10 or 15. That's just me. That's just me.
And that's what it's boiling down to.
Yeah, that's just me. So next week, Lon Ray Badmus and of course the one and only Miguel Nunez will be making their appearance next Monday, and of course we have a special guest, the one and only The Fire, Dan Feuerstein, stops by, and of course there's a whole lot of problems with Lon Ray. The good news is, as I look here at the scoreboard on my big monitor here,
Knicks up 3.
yeah, Knicks up by 3. I mean, I did say this thing was going to go 5, but the Hawks of course not going to go away. So we're done here. As always, don't forget, if you missed the live show, which is going on right now, don't forget, you can actually watch our on-demand recordings on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And, of course, at our home from the very beginning, Spotify.com. All of our episodes are uploaded Wednesday morning at midnight for your listening and viewing pleasure. So that's it for us, boys and girls, for Nick Lianos and Mark Coates. And one last thing, I didn't forget, and one last thing.
I have to do a little special for my wife. On Thursday, we will be celebrating our 21st wedding anniversary.
Oh, my heart melts.
A little early wedding anniversary. Hello to me. Thank you.
My heart,
Put up with me being here for hours on Monday.
my heart melts. Congratulations to you both, the Coates family. Congratulations. So with that, we bid adieu. We'll see you next week. Until then, good night and goodbye for now.